Hey everyone, welcome. So today we're going to tackle something that, let's be honest, looks pretty intimidating at first, the unit circle. But what if I told you it's actually one of the biggest, most powerful shortcuts in all of math? Seriously. Forget trying to memorize endless tables of sines and cosines. We're going to demystify this thing once and for all. Let's dive in.
So just to kick things off, let me throw a problem at you. What is the cosine of 240 degrees? Now, your first instinct might be to reach for a calculator, but I promise you, by the end of all this, you'll be able to solve this in your head in like 10 seconds.
Because the secret isn't some super complicated formula. The answer to our question, and so many others in trigonometry, is just beautifully laid out on a single, really simple circle.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to properly meet the unit circle and get its main idea. Then, we'll crack the code for the first quadrant using a really neat trick. After that, we'll unlock the rest of the circle with a shortcut, figure out the whole positive-negative sign thing, and then finally, we'll bring it all home to solve that original problem.
Okay, first up, welcome to the unit circle. This is the bedrock for everything else we're going to do.
So what even is this thing? Well, the unit circle is really just a circle with a radius of exactly 1, that's the unit part, and its center is parked right at the origin of a graph, at 0, 0. That's it. Nothing too scary yet, right?
And here it is. This is the absolute master key. For any angle you can think of on that circle, the x-coordinate of the point where it lands is the cosine, and the y-coordinate is the sine. Just burn this into your brain. Cosine is x, sine is y. This one idea changes everything. Trigonometry stops being about formulas and starts being about finding a point on a map. All right, we've got the foundation. Now, let's start building. Section 2 is all about cracking quadrant 1 with a fantastic little memory aid. I call it the hand trick.
So, why are we so obsessed with this one little quadrant? Because once you know the key points here, the rest of the circle is just a copy-paste job. They all follow the exact same pattern. This is where we get the most bang for our buck.
Okay, you're gonna love this part. It's actually kind of fun. Go ahead, hold up your left hand with your palm facing you. Think of your pinky as 0 degrees and your thumb as 90. The 3 fingers in between? Yep, those are 30, 45, and 60 degrees. So let's try 45 degrees. Just fold down your middle finger. Now look, how many fingers are above it? 2, right? That's your cosine. So the cosine of 45 is the square root of 2 all over 2. And how many fingers are below it? Also 2. So the sine is also the square root of 2 over 2. It's literally right there in your hand. And just like that, we've done it. Using that super simple hand trick, we now have the exact coordinates, the cosine and sine, for the 3 most critical angles in the first quadrant. These 3 points are going to be our building blocks for everything else.
And now for the magic trick. Section 3, the reference angle shortcut. This is how we take everything we just learned about that one little quadrant and stretch it to cover the entire circle without memorizing a single new value. So what in the world is a reference angle? It's simple, really. It's just the shortest, fastest way to get from the tip of your angle back to the horizontal x-axis. And I mean always the x-axis, never the y-axis. It's always going to be a small, positive angle, somewhere between 0 and 90.
Just look at these examples. If you're at 150 degrees, how far are you from the x-axis at 180? Just 30 degrees. So 30 is your reference angle. Or what about 225 degrees? Again, the closest x-axis is at 180, and the difference is 45 degrees. You see the pattern here. Every single angle on the circle has a little cousin back in quadrant 1.
And here's the punchline. The actual value of the sine or cosine for, say, 150 degrees is exactly the same as it is for its little 30-degree reference angle. The numbers themselves don't change at all. The only thing we have to figure out now is whether the answer is positive or negative.
Which brings us perfectly to the final piece of our puzzle. Section 4, what's the sine?
Honestly, this part is just basic graphing. Remember, cosine is our x value and sine is our y value. So in the top right quadrant, x and y are both positive. In the top left, x goes negative, but y is still positive. Down in the bottom left, they're both negative. And in the bottom right, x is positive again, but y is negative. It's just the simple logic of a coordinate plane.
And if you want a fantastic little way to remember that, just think of the phrase, all students take calculus. Starting in quadrant 1 and going around, it tells you which functions are positive. In quadrant 1, all of them are. In 2, only sine is positive. In 3, only tangent. And in 4, only cosine. It's a super handy trick.
All right, we've collected all our tools. Our toolkit is full. It is time to go back and finally solve that problem from the very beginning. Let's put it all together. Here it is again. What is the cosine of 240 degrees? Now, instead of some big scary question, this is just a simple 4-step process. Okay, step 1. Where is 240 degrees? It's past 180, but not quite 270, so boom, we're in quadrant 3. Step 2. What's the reference angle? Well, the distance from 240 back to the nearest x-axis at 180 is 60 degrees. Okay, step 3. What's the cosine of our 60-degree reference angle? Let's use the hand trick. One finger above, so that's the square root of 1 over 2, which is just 1/2. And finally, step 4. What's the sine? We're in quadrant 3, where the x value, our cosine, is always negative.
So, you just put it all together. The value is 1/2, the sine is negative, the cosine of 240 degrees is negative 1/2. See? No calculator necessary. That's the real power of this system.
So, let's wrap it up. Here's your takeaway toolkit. Number 1. The unit circle is just a map where any point is cosine sine. Number 2. The hand trick is your key to quadrant 1. 3. The reference angle is your shortcut to everywhere else. And 4. The quadrant tells you if the sign is positive or negative. That's the whole system right there.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. The unit circle, which seems so complex on the surface, is really just built on a few very simple ideas that all link together. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other big, scary concepts out there, in math or anywhere else, are actually just simple patterns waiting for us to find them?